Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Now, in this video, I am going to do 3 problems from the August 2022 Regents exam. I'm going to do number 3, I'm going to do number 6, and I'm going to do number 18. Now, these questions, according to the Regents standards, are different questions. But for the way that I'm teaching you guys how to solve these, and the way that I want you to solve these, is I want you to treat these essentially as the same types of questions. Only thing that's different is they just have different numbers. So let me show you how I want you to do this. So we're going to start with number 3, and then we're going to do 6, and then we're going to do 18. So it says here, it says the expression 36x squared minus 9 is equivalent to, and we got 4 choices. Now, by now, you guys should understand that whenever you are dealing with multiple choice and you see the word equivalent to, and you're given an expression, and you're given a bunch of other expressions, all you have to do is store any number into the variable, in this case it's x, and then find out what the output would be, and then go and find the one that gives you the same output. Now, if that doesn't make sense, I'm just going to do 3 examples, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be set. So now let me go get the calculator. And I am going to, first thing, store a number, any number. Just don't use 0, don't use 1. I'm going to put $1.23. I like that number. And I'm going to store that into X. It's done. Now I'm just going to key in the original expression, which was 36x squared minus 9. So 36x squared minus 9. And then I press enter. And it tells me that the output is going to be $45 and about 46 cents, but it's going to be 4644. Now, when you do this, every single decimal has to match when you go look for the answer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this a little smaller so you can see what I'm doing here. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the first expression, parentheses, 6x minus 3 squared. Press enter. They don't match. That's about $19. That's not the answer, so I'm going to go to number 2, do the same thing, parentheses 18x minus 4.5 parentheses squared. Press enter. That doesn't match. And then I'm going to go to number 3 and make sure that when you enter the expressions, you enter them exactly as you see them. Don't change anything. Parentheses, make sure everything matches. So let me see, I got 6x. Now this one is minus 3. Press enter. All right, this matches exactly. 45.4644. That's my answer. That's the one I would circle. I would keep it moving. I know that's the right answer. I don't have to check anything else. If you want to do number 4, just to eliminate it, you can, but I'm sure that that's the answer. Because when I stuck in $1.23 into the original expression, I got $45.4644. So anything that matches that, that's the answer. So let's go to number 6 now. So I'm going to move 6 here. It's the same thing. It says equivalent to, it's got an expression, and it's got a bunch of other expressions. So let's go. So boom, I am going to go to the, now I'm going to get rid of all of this. So I'm just going to do menu 15. Menu 15. Now, if you want to change the number that you want to store, you can, but you can definitely use the same number. It stays in there. So in this case, if you press the X key, you can see that it's highlighted. That means there's something already stored. So the $1.23 is still in there. So I'm just going to reuse that. I don't have to change anything. Excuse me. So the expression was 1/3. Control delete. The expression was control divide. So I'm putting in 1/3. And then it's x. Then we have parentheses 6x. What was it? 6x squared minus 3x plus 9, close the parentheses, and then just press enter. So, whoops. Okay, now, good. So this is saying, hey, there's a problem with what you entered. And the problem is when you have an X in the outside of parentheses, and then you have an X right inside the parentheses, you have to put a multiplication sign. So that's all you have to do. So if you get that error message, don't freak out. Just go back and put a multiplication sign outside of the parentheses and then press enter. So we got about $5.89, a little bit, almost $5.90. Doesn't matter. We're going to go and we're going to check the other numbers. So let's go. Now, if you think you know what the answer is, go straight to it. I'm going to start with number 1, and it's going to be 2x squared minus x plus 3. Press enter. That doesn't match. So let's go to the next one, 2x squared plus 3x plus 3. That doesn't match. So go over here to the next one. So this is 2x cubed. I want to cube it now to the third power. And then I want to do minus x squared plus 3x. Then press enter. That matches. So that's my answer. That's the one I was circled. You don't have to check anything else because they match exactly. So now I'm going to go to number 16. So give me 1 second. And I think 16 is right here. Oh, number, actually not 16, but 18. So let me read it. Let me bring this up, get all this other stuff off. So it says here, it says, in an organism, the number of cells C of D after D days can be represented by the function C of D equals 120 times 2 to the 3D power. This function can also be expressed as. Now, it didn't say this is equivalent to, but it said it can also be expressed as, which is basically saying it can also be equivalent to one of these other expressions. So, or one of these other functions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this 2 ways. I'm going to store a number. I'm going to use I'm not going to use 1.23 on this one. I'm going to use a different number, but then I'm going to go here and find it. And then I'm going to show you how you can also use the graphing feature. So, so let me go to the calculator. And let me get rid of all this stuff. So I'm going to go menu 15. And now the letter that they gave us is D. So you can actually use D, or you can just say, oh, I've been using X, so I'm just going to switch the D for an X when I enter these. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use X because that's what I'm kind of comfortable with. But this time I'm going to store 3. So I'm going to go 3 store into X. Press enter. So now it's no longer $1.23. I've stored 3 there. And so now I'm going to key in the original function, but I'm only going to be looking at this part right here, 120 times 2 to the 3D power. So I'm going to go 120 times 2 to the, now instead of the D, since I'm using X, I got to use X. And then I press enter. And it says that's 61,440. So now one of these, when I enter those, should give me 61,440. Now, just to save some time, I'm going to go to the actual answer. So the answer should be 4. So I'm going to enter 120 times 8 to the D power. So it's going to be 120 times 8 to the X power, and then press enter. And you see they match. So that's my answer. Now, another way that we can do this is we could have just graphed it. So first function we're going to enter is the original. It's going to be 120 times 2 to the, now when you're graphing, you can only use X values. You can't use anything else. If you're storing a number, On the calculator screen, you can store it into any of the variables. But when you're graphing, you can only use X. That's it. So it's got to be X. So I'm going to go, it's going to be 3X here. I press enter. Well, that was supposed to be X. It's hard for me to see this. So I'm going to do 3X right here. Press enter. That's what the graph looks like. Now what I would do is I would just enter these graphs or these functions and then see which one actually matches this. So we already know the answer. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. So I'm going to go tab, go to the next one, and I'm going to enter 120 times 8 to the x power. Now, one of the things you're going to see is this is a blue exponential function, but as soon as I press enter, the blue is going to be overlaid with red because the new function that I just entered is exactly the same, and so it just covers it up. So when we press enter, gosh, Greg, sorry, y'all. I keep thinking that I'm putting in X and I'm not putting in X because I can't see. So delete this. Again, that should be X power. Press enter. Boom. You see it now turns to red. The other thing that you should really do, this is the real test. You should go to the table, Control T. Now, Control T always gives you the table, and I'm going to make this bigger so you can see everything. All right. You should be able to, I'm going to grab this so that you can see that. Let me see. I'm going to make this, can I make this a little larger too? Yeah. A little smaller. So look, you can see when I put in 1 as the input, the outputs for the first one in blue was 960, and the output for the second one that I entered is also 960. If I go anywhere, I can go down to 16. When the input is 16, the output is 3.3776. The output over here is 3.37769. This one, it actually has a lot more decimal places down here. It's a really large number. If you go over here, it's the same large number. So they match. So all you really need to do is just check the table. When the input is 0, output is 120 on the first one. It's the same on the second one. So no matter what the input is, the output should be the same. That's how I know that those are basically the same function. So that's it. So you can store a number. Or in this case, since they gave us a function, we can also graph it. Let me end this. This is probably a little longer than I wanted.